recording. All right, YouTube, this is Mr. Mean coming to you this Saturday morning, November 14th. It is a little gloomy here in Duluth, Minnesota, but on the line with me, I have some luminaries and some awesome people. We are going to play a little Chivalry and Sorcery with the designer and the editor. So starting in my upper left with I believe it's Andrew, right? We're going to start with Andrew. He's going to introduce himself and tell you who and what he is, and then we're going to go around, and then I'll bring it up last, and then we'll start. Andrew, sir, take it away.
Hi, I'm Andrew Merrington. I'm from the golf role-playing community based in Dubai, and I'm a keen Chivalry and Sorcery games master, but this is the first time I get to be a player.
Yay.
Yay.
Andy, I'm sorry.
I'm Andy Staples. I'm one of the designers of Chivalry and Sorcery, a minion to Steve, who will introduce himself in a moment. I am also a member of the golf role-playing community, but I currently live in Yorkshire in England.
Mr. Stephen?
I'm Steve Turner. I'm the current head of Britannia Game Designs and lead designer of Chivalry and Sorcery. I live in the Black Country in the heart of England, and which is famous for the birth of the Industrial Revolution.
Or child slavery as we know it. I mean, take your pick. Take your pick.
Still is.
Hi, everybody. I am Nasser Khalid, and I am from the Gulf role-playing community, and I am the co-founder of Tabletop House Bahrain, and also a member of the Mr. Mean Army.
And as you all know, I am Mr. Mean. I am the leader. I am the general, the nom de plume, the egomaniac, the master of disaster, and all that fun stuff. And before we get into this madness, Stephen, I pray for you, sir. I totally pray for you. I want to thank each and every one of you.
I've made sacrifices.
He's made, yeah. Honey, where's the dog? Shush. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy lives to come hang out with Mr. Mean. And a big special thank you to Nasser for orchestrating this madness. So if anything goes wrong, it's all Nasser's fault.
Yay!
Thank you again from the bottom of my pitless heart. It means a lot to come support my small YouTube slice of the web. And Steve was nice enough to send me the book and some extra goodies, which we will highlight on the show later. And guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition, please pick it up, add it to your library. You can use the Discord link. There you go. Andrew shilling away. It's a way to go, man. It's a great book. It is. Am I correct in saying this, Steve? It is historical fantasy, but you can add, or it's historical medieval role playing, but you can add fantasy any way you like, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, you can have the fantasy if you wanted, or just play it straight historical.
Right. So you historical buffs out there, probably not many on the Mr. Mean show, but that's okay. There might be one. But yeah, you could do that. Like today I am playing a mage. So obviously we're having some of the fantastical in there. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Steve, and he's going to be our game master for the evening. So please, sir, take it away.
Right. So we have in the group a priest of a fighting order, a mage, a knight, and a herald. You're currently on your way to Caden Byrig, but stopping off at the village of Iron Bluff, because it's the only village in the area with an inn, and you're in the inn, it's a quiet evening, not very many people about, and you suddenly hear some shouting outside.
Well, let's take a look around.
Yeah, that's untoward.
It seems that there are signs of trouble here.
As you venture outside the inn, there are lots of villagers running around, shouting and raising the hue and cry.
Well, I try to grab one who's running, and I like ask him what's going on. Do I see anyone?
We found it. We found a body. It's horrible. The face has been ripped off.
Where? Show us.
He points to the outskirts of the village, near the edge of some woods.
Well, I guess we should head that way. I'm going to let the fighter and the war priest go first. I'm tactically bringing up the rear.
Yes, I shall stride forward. Are we armed and armored, or have we been travelling?
Oh, yeah, you're armed and armoured. Yeah, you've travelled in armour because it's dangerous out there. It's quite wild in the area.
Fair enough.
But you haven't settled down for the night. It's towards the end of twilight.
Oh, getting dark.
So, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
I shall accompany our good Sir Knight.
In terms of game, in terms of rank, would the herald outrank the knight?
Oh God, no.
Oh, so the knight outranks the herald.
Yes,
right.
But the herald cannot be touched by any other knights.
Okay. Then let us go and see. And I kind of saunter forward.
As you wander over to the edge of the woods, you see a prone body lying in front of you. As you get nearer, you can see that the corpse is in mail armour, fine boots, but you don't know who it is because the face has literally been stoved in and ripped away.
Is there a shield?
What creature could do this?
There is no shield. The surcoat on him has been ripped to shreds. It looks as though something has grabbed the face and ripped the front half of the skull away.
What manner of beast is this? Is there any way I could find out, what would have caused that? Is it a claw? Is it a weapon of some sort?
Or
yeah,
beast?
it's very, very. You can clearly see claw marks. Where they've dug into the side of the face and just ripped the front half of the skull away.
Now, checking over my skill list as a priest, I have demonology. Might I see if I've heard of a demon that might pull faces off people?
Oh, that's called my ex-wife.
Yours
Sorry.
or mine? Okay, do you want to make a skill roll then, Andy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I was going to say, Steve, why don't you, because a lot of us haven't played, well, at least I haven't, and I'm sure a lot of my viewers haven't, can we just walk through a basic skill test?
Yeah, a basic skill test. Every character has a number of skills, and they have a total skill chance for that skill. To roll against that, you roll percentile dice and a third d10. The percentile is against your total skill chance, and the d10 represents the range of success or failure. 1 is low, 10 is high. So if you fail with a 10, you have screwed up big time. If you succeed with a 10, you've succeeded big time. And that's it. That is the game mechanic.
So what we advise people to do is get a percentile pair of one colour and another d10 of a different colour. Just roll them all together. Yeah, we're all holding them up now. So I need a 55, and that is a marginal failure. So 90. My camera's in reverse. I don't know how to change it in this system.
Yeah.
But that's 93 on the roll and a 2. So I either don't know anything or I misremember a demon.
Right. You suspect that the creature that's done this is a demon of avarice who loves collecting faces to put on its wall as trophies.
Oh. Well, I've relayed this information. A demon of avarice. Clearly it is the work of a demon who collects faces.
He says with confidence.
Absolutely.
Now,
Good night.
I have a skill in fairy lore.
Yes.
Can I advance if there is any alternate theory where perhaps something from the fairy
You
realm
can.
may have caused this? Yeah?
You
May I
can.
make a fairy lore roll?
Yes.
My TSC is 64.
All right, so explain to us what that is. Your TSE.
TSC
It's the total skill chance.
Right. Sorry, I don't mean to interject, but we're throwing around acronyms and stuff that most people aren't going to know what they are. So,
I've been arguing against our acronyms for more than 20 years.
well, I just,
I've
you know,
gotten used to them.
the point of this
So-
is A, for us to have a fun time, and B, to introduce other people to this wonderful game. So the more they know, the more.
And this is so. I rolled a 90 on my D%, so I failed. And then I'm going to check the other dice, which is called the crit die. And I rolled a 6. So
Oh, yeah. You're convinced that it's one of the Fey Lords from the Unseelie Court who is using this to create a new creature.
No. Clearly, it's a demon. A demon, I tell you, collecting faces.
Master Wizard, why don't you take a look at this and see if you could perhaps find out what manner of creature is this?
I don't, out of character, Magnus Barnabas Hook, a name you should all learn to fear, or respect, either one, doesn't appear to have any skills that would allow me to divine anything, maybe world history and legend.
Yeah.
Possibly, yes. You could make a roll against that.
So my TSC, my total. Now, what does TSC stand for?
Total skill chance.
Total
All right.
skill.
So that's what I'm rolling against, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yes.
I have my red die and my blue hundreds die, and then I have just a regular yellow D10. So I roll all three together, correct?
Okay.
All right. And for me,
Correct.
my world history and legend is 85%. I'm freaking smart, guys. And of course, I rolled a 77 with a 3 on my crit die.
So it's a
From
success.
your experience of legends, it is neither demon or fey or undead.
And
It's
I feel
the sort of thing you've heard. You'll feel confident that this is the sort of thing a necromancer might do.
And I'm assuming in this world, just as in most, necromancers are verboten. They're bad.
Oh, you can play necromancers if you want to play an evil game.
Oh, sorry. Remember, you guys aren't my friends. You're
Outside
parts. You're parts for a necromancer. You're just parts.
Yeah.
But Barnabas here, which is a fantastic name, by the way. It reminds me of the old BBC show, Barnabas Collins. He will clearly. I'll poke it with my staff a little bit, and I'll clearly, very nonchalantly, I will turn around and walk away from them and say, "Clearly, it is the undead," and I will walk away.
Well, as you poke it with your staff,
Oh crap!
it moves a little bit.
Shadowbolt.
Sir Edmund pulls out his sword.
Holy barrier of
Okay.
God. Please, great Bellerin, hear my prayer. Protect us from this unholy
Okay.
thing.
Okay, so cross a charge off the focus.
That's for the priest.
Yeah, for the mage.
Oh, the mage. Focus.
You cast Shadow Bolt.
Oh, okay. I said I was going to do it, so... All right, so that comes off.
Yeah.
It's like when you got the gun in your hand and someone scares you and you accidentally shoot. That's kind of... So,
Yeah.
All right, so
Your
focus charge.
Shadow Bolt goes off. Yeah. Lightning of various colours hits the corpse, and your word of God goes up, Andy, and flopping out of a wound in the abdomen of the corpse, a couple of rats fall out dead.
Steve, that's not cool. Okay, you just scared the shit out of us.
Jump scares. Cheap shot.
I meant to do that. Yeah, cheap shot. Cheap shot. There you go.
You walked into it.
We did. Well, I had to go and poke it, right? Leave it to the mage to stir stuff up.
Oh, phew, it's going to take me 10 minutes
young
to
demon
get
priest.
that fatigue back.
I'm going to go sit down on a rock somewhere and clean my shorts.
Let us bury this corpse or burn it. What do you advise, Master Wizard?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's necromancy and undead, right? So the burning it, I would ask the knight. Actually, I wouldn't sully the knight. I would ask the herald to behead it if he has an axe or a sword, because that would kind of be beneath the knight. Please behead this this poor creature, and we will burn the body, then bury the ashes. And if the priest would say a prayer over the corpse.
Oh, certainly.
I think that's. Do you have a sword, Mr. Harold, or should I do it?
He's like, I've got a knife.
I do prefer to be called Lord Otto, but I have a sword, yes.
All right.
Sorry, my lord.
Draw and strike the corpse's head off as requested.
Nice.
Shall I roll for that, or am I successful?
Oh, no.
Well, if it dodges, we're in a world of hurt. Okay.
Oh yes, that's why I asked.
If you're carrying it out an execution, such as one of Henry's wives, I'd make you roll.
It depends on how she looked.
Yeah.
Well, it took several goes to do it. I think that's what Steve's referring to.
Yeah.
Well, shall we say she was
Three
girth
blows
of neck?
for Mary Queen of Scots. Three blows for Mary Queen of Scots, and
That was it, yeah.
For,
Yep.
one of the Cromwells as well.
Yeah.
Thomas Cromwell, I think, was 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And 40 from
fortunately, I've
Lizzie
not been
Borden.
drinking.
Lizzie Borden. Oh my God. You're horrible, Andy. All right. So I assume we're able the Lord Knight is able to or Lord Herald, I'm sorry, is able to behead it. And then we will burn it. I'm not going to use magic to burn it, or do I think that would be the better thing? Would it matter?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So
Ordinary firewood.
So we'll put it to the torch, and then I guess we warm our hands by the fire, and then would it be protocol to bury the ashes?
Well, I will pray for protection from spirits, demons, undead, and fae, for I can pray against all of them.
Yes.
With one prayer.
Excellent.
So that seems to
and
cover
you've got
all
this
our
nice
bases.
fire going. You get this nice pyre going. The body is burning away, and you suddenly realise it's gone quite dark, and there's nobody else around.
We should start
You
looking
suddenly
around.
realise you sort of realise that all the villagers have gone back to their houses and bolted themselves in, because it's not safe going out in the dark.
And that's pretty standard fare, though, in most of the country, correct?
Correct.
If you listen to the wives' tales and the handmaids' tales, right? That's when the bad things come out. So why, again, are we sitting out here roasting by the fire? Oh, because it was my idea.
And you can start hearing the sounds of night, crickets, and the rustle in the trees.
I believe if there is a necromancer or whoever caused this, we should find them.
It's amazing that we're hearing crickets at night. You'd have thought the umpires would have called it off.
So
bad lie. You know?
So Steve, is it in this game, in this set of mechanics, is there like winds of magic, or is there a way for like a mage or the priest to detect magic in an area or anything like that, like an ill wind?
Yes.
And how would one go about that?
You could make a roll against your mode of magic to sense if there's any magic around.
My mode of magic,
which
would
will
be for you your Hexmaster mode.
Hexmaster mode. All
Yes.
right, so that's 68%. And again, I rolled the percentile and an extra D10, right, for all rolls.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I have a TSC, or total skill chance, of 68%, but sadly I rolled 72 with a 5 on the D10. So I failed.
Yeah, well, you think you failed, but your skin is prickling, your hairs on your arms are standing up. There's something in the area.
So, lads, there's an ill wind about. I suggest we stay close and prepare for the worst.
Well, by now we've paid our respects to the honoured dead, haven't we?
Get out of here.
Should we not
Yes.
retire to the inn?
I like the way this guy thinks.
Yeah.
That would seem to make good sense.
Perhaps, but
Okay.
whoever did this, what if they come back and snatch someone else?
It's too late. It's too dark to track it now. I've prayed against all kinds of evil creature.
So mechanically, Andy,
Perhaps they
when
should
you
be-
sorry, Andrew.
Right.
Mechanically, Andy, when
Sorry.
you pray, is that centered on you, or is it the area?
In the case of this particular prayer, it is primarily an area. It drives away evil spirits from immediately around me. It's temporary.
So
It
we
doesn't
stay
matter
close to the
forever.
priest, is what you're saying. So as long as it's casted on you, so if you go back to the inn and we go with you, we're still covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I like that.
But in this particular case, I wasn't thinking about protecting me. I was next to the corpse, so if there's an evil spirit in it, we drive it out.
Oh,
So
gotcha. I understand.
that was the intention. But there is still a game effect that we're still protected if you stick close to me.
Then let us go to the inn, spend the night there, but keep our
Okay.
wits about us.
Okay. You make your way back to the inn, and the door is shut.
Well, I would imagine the knight or the herald would bang on the door.
Sir Edmund Silverhand is here. Open the door, please.
Bang, bang, bang.
A little hand
Make way.
opens. It's dark. I'm not opening the door to the dark. Shuts it.
Oh,
You've got a knight, and you've got a priest, and you've got a wizard here. What? And a herald. We'll protect you.
Opens the
Bang,
door.
bang, bang. We have silver.
Did you protect that poor man who died? Shuts the hatch.
Indeed, we've prayed over his body. His soul is safe.
Don't make us do the same for you.
Andrew, I just want to point out one thing, sir. Out of game here. Time out. There's an old Sesame Street song that says one of these items doesn't belong, right? Now you see Mr. Mean, nice beard. Nasser, nice coiffed, groomed beard. Steven, nice beard. Andrew, or Andy, Mr. Staples, nice white beard. What's missing on you, sir? Say it with me.
I shaved this morning. Yeah,
Beard.
sorry.
So if you've watched Star Trek, you're the red shirt of the group. See, we all have beards. You do not.
Yeah, or you're the Mirror Universe characters, and I'm
Good
I'm the
point.
Universe
Good
character.
point. Well spoken, sir. I like it.
At which
Meanwhile,
point, the hatch only opens and he said, "How much silver?"
I shake a purse.
There's rocks in it.
A hand appears by the hatch, waiting for the pouch to be placed through the hatch into hand.
Good heavens, not the whole pouch, man. I take out.
What's fair? A silver apiece?
You shook the pouch. You shook the pouch. He's waiting for the pouch to
I
be
did.
passed through.
So you take most of it out of the pouch and give him the pouch.
I'll take out 10 coins and put them in his hand.
Snatched. You know the old little coin money thing. It's grabbed it, pulled it in, hatched closes, and you hear a bar being pulled aside, and the door opens.
Bless you, sir.
Gentlemen, welcome to my inn. If you'd like to take a table, we will bring some food to you.
I just walk in like I own the place.
Sounds most agreeable.
Okay, as soon as you're in, he slams the door shut, puts the bar across, and puts some bolts on.
That's just wise precautions.
There's things that walk in the night around here. You don't want to go messing in the dark.
Yes, demons, so I suspect.
So out of game, do we know this? Is this a common thing here
Creatures.
for this area, this part of the world? Or is it just superstition and peasant?
In this area, there is some ruins about 10 miles up the road, which are supposed to be haunted.
By demons, clearly.
And unseelie creatures.
And necromancers.
I feel we may be taking on more than we can chew. Demons, fae, and undead.
Andy, didn't I tell you that players are their own worst enemies? Didn't we have this conversation?
Absolutely.
And damn, I thought that baby fire drake was going to be too much for you.
Sir Edmund would approach the innkeeper, and he would ask him, things like this, do they happen very often here?
Not for a while, not for a few years. There was rumours of a village 3 days walk away, a long way away, and they had somebody go missing like this.
The same
They
way?
had bodies stolen from a graveyard.
I was right, necromancer.
Well, what an unholy act.
Interesting. Master Magnus, it seems that your theory is right.
Indubitably. I will reach in my pack and pull out the heavy tome, and just it hits on the table, dust flies out a little bit, and I will flip it open and I will read up on what I know about necromancers, because I'm assuming I kind of have a book, right? All Magnuses have books.
Yeah, your book is quite small. Yeah, your book is quite small. It's only 10 inches by 14 inches by 6 inches thick.
It's not all about size, okay? I mean, you don't need to, shame me on the channel, in front of everybody. So my book's a little smaller. It doesn't mean I know less. Jeez. Just kidding.
It's not been stolen from a chain library. Let's put it that way.
I have here a medieval grimoire, the Sworn Book of Honorius.
Yeah, funny enough, that's what my book looks like, although it's not glossy.
This has the best copyright notice of any book I own. Permission is hereby granted to make one handwritten copy for personal use, provided the master bind his executors by a strong oath to bury it with him in his grave. Beyond this, whosoever copies this sacred text without permission from the editor will be damned. That's absolutely genuine.
I love it. That has to be added to my library right there.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'll put it right next to the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
All right, so I would start reading on whatever I know about, necromancy, and trying to refer back to any knowledge that I may have to better prepare ourselves, because obviously we're going to sally forth and take this dude out.
Yeah. And while you're reading, a couple of barmaids come bringing some food to the table. As you nobles, there is actually some meat on a trencher for you to share, and the rest is some decent vegetable stew.
Jolly good.
Yes.
Have you any wine?
I shall say grace
For
what we are about to receive.
No, sir. We have some ale, and we have some mead.
Well, Oh, is the mead good?
Oh, the mead is very good, sir.
I'll have some of that meat.
Okay.
Indeed, mead.
Mead all around.
Mead all around. They bring some pewter tankards full of mead to you. Okay. You're tucking into the meal, drinking the mead. Can you make constitution checks, please?
All of us?
Ooh.
All of you.
All right. Ooh.
Okay.
I'm not intending to be gluttonous or intemperate.
I succeed with a 4 on the crit die, Steve.
Okay.
Succeed
all
with
right.
a 6.
All right. I got a 28%, which is a success. And on the crit die, I got a 6.
Well,
Okay. You've managed to down. You all downed a tankard of mead without any ill effects.
Heavy drink, isn't it?
Clearly, it's made with a wine yeast rather than a cider yeast, as I expected.
But tasty, nevertheless.
Hardy.
It is very tasty. And digging in, it has got a room, but it would be a shared room.
Oh,
I'm not sure it's appropriate for me to share a room with you gentlemen.
yes.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
What would protocol dictate? I mean, because the knight, wouldn't he get his own room? I mean, if there was a room to be had.
If there was a room to be had, yes, it would be the knight who would have the room.
And then the rest of us would sleep in the stable or something, or on the common floor. Is that the norm?
On the common floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the common floor.
That would be acceptable to me. Sorry, I should have specified earlier, as I've been looking over the character I've picked up. Is that I'm a woman.
Well, hello there.
Are there
we
any
can tell
women?
by your great beard.
She's dwarvish.
I think Sir Edmund would let the priest have the room to herself. He's a knight, but out of respect, he'll allow her to have the room.
Very chivalrous of you, Sir Edmund.
Yeah. So the room that the priest is having is about 30 foot by 40 foot, with about a dozen straw billets, dozen beds in there for people to share. A couple of them are bunks.
Oh, so not a simple private room, but actually a full refectory. As a priest of a fighting order, I'm used to sleeping in dormitories, so I withdraw my objection.
Yeah. So in other words, we can all sleep in there, and it would be we'll give the lady though first choice, and then the knight second. And I'll go last, which I assume is appropriate.
Yes, well, we select our beds. I'll take the bottom bunk.
I bet you will.
Is there like a window in this room?
There is a window, yes. It doesn't have glass, but it does have wooden shutters.
All right. I think Sir Edmund would like to sleep next to that window. Like if there's a bed next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna. What he's seen today is kind of bothered him. Yeah, this thing about undead necromancy. So he feels like he might probably want to look through the window till he feels like things are safe, and then he's gonna sleep.
Well,
Just how he feels.
okay. During the night, you hear some sounds outside.
Well, before we actually bed down,
Andy?
if possible, I would like to cast and tell me the mechanics here. Lesser ward against undead.
Okay. Basically, the mechanics would be you draw a circle around the group, and you cast your Hexmaster mode because you're going to target the spell.
Okay, so it would be under my 68%.
So, yes.
Ooh, and I got it with a 10 on the success dice. So I got it by 26%, under 26, and I got a 10 on the D10. So,
in which case, that is as perfect a wards that you can do. The whole room is protected against undead.
yes. And I'll look at the night and say, we shall sleep well tonight. And I'll go back to my cot and start to go to sleep.
And sort of before you moved on, I was just about to say I draw my sword, kneel, and pray. I'm not doing a specific mechanical prayer, but simply prayer to save the people of this inn and this village from the ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties and things that go bump in the night.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
during the
pray
night...
that my bed does not have 2 big fleas in it.
Why, were you hoping for 3?
Funnily
I
enough,
just don't think very much of the
I ran an
efficacy
hour
of
ago
prayer.
and 3 large fleas.
The herald is acting more arrogant than the knight here. I like this.
He's got to achieve, right? He's got to strive, you know. He's playing the role.
A well-equipped
Another
lord
great
carries his mattress around with him to ensure that he has only his own fleas.
And so,
are you doffing your armor?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nobody sleeps in armor. It's most uncomfortable.
yeah, sure.
I don't know what
So,
this armor
during
is
the
you
night-
speak of.
It's this, Sir Mage.
Oh. I take off my robe.
I avert my eyes.
During the night, there are a few sounds outside, but nothing that appears to come to the inn. And a few hours after you seem as though you've bedded down, you hear the cock crow announcing the dawn. And you hear movement downstairs.
I shall get up and pray again.
Yep. Get up, check all my accoutrements, you know, get all my gear together. Obviously, I probably had the staff in bed with me, just because, well, it's very important to me.
It's a comfort staff.
It is.
Transitional object.
I think Sir Edmund would
Oh.
probably...
Go on, Sir Edmund, sir.
Okay. So Edmund would probably wash his face if there's a wash basin, like a wash basin in the room. If there's like a
What?
Very good. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
a washing bowl, if they have one or something like that in the room, if there's one.
Oh.
No, they don't have anything like
They
that.
wouldn't have something like that.
All right. So he's just gonna probably put on his armor, strap his sword, just put on his equipment, and look at everybody and say, "I'm going down for breakfast. If anyone's joining me."
Well,
Well,
I go down for breakfast in my fine vestments, not in my armor.
Yes, I was going to say I shall carry my armor. I see no need to arm myself against bacon.
There's no swine for the divine, by the way.
Yes, when you get downstairs into the common room, there is a strong smell of bacon, and your breakfast is brought out: some bread, some cheese, some bacon. And would you gentlemen like a small beer?
Just water, thank you. I've had to make one constitution check already.
Small beer, please.
Are you sure, sir? You just want water?
It's all they serve with breakfast at the monastery.
Are you sure, sir? Very
There's
well.
something wrong with the water?
Well, we're never too sure. That's why we brew it.
Very well, then, a small beer.
Okay.
When
we
in
get
Caddenberg do as the Caddenberg... I can't even say it. Caddenbergians.
yeah, she brings a big virtually a bucket of small beer and 4 tankards for you. This beer is perhaps only about 1.5% proof.
Oh, so it's American beer.
Yeah.
You said it. I wasn't going to be.
I don't drink, so it doesn't offend me.
Make you love it a canoe. Yeah, it's a breakfast drink.
It's a breakfast drink, yes. And there's a few villagers come in for a small beer and some breakfast before they start going out to the fields. And they come in very quickly and leave. And as you finish your breakfasts, the sun is starting to rise above the horizon. And it looks like it's going to be quite a warm day.
So, Edmund, I think we should visit we should look for whoever this unfortunate knight we discovered yesterday, whichever castle he belonged to, or whichever manor nearby he may have
Perhaps.
come from.
Did you not hear noises in the night? Perhaps we should ask our host if this is usual in this village.
Oh, they already told us that.
Lord Demon.
They said that you know that's why the door was locked and barred. That there's strange things afoot, which is why the herald had to pay money.
Did
3 days ago, a village, sorry, not 3 days from here, had lost a individual. They have also had a grave robbed, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I think we should head that way.
I agree with Master Magnus.
Okay.
Then, if we are to seek out danger, allow me to bless your weapons.
I lean my head forward because that's my weapon. It is.
Bless you, my son. Yeah, I will perform the ritual of bless item on the swords of Lord. What's his name? Lord Otto. Sir Edmund, and my own. But that's gonna.
And Barnabas, you feel a little uncomfortable about having a blessing.
Is that not my jam? Is that I'm not into that holy roly stuff. I'm a learned man.
Yeah, holy blessings can interfere with magic.
Oh, well then I won't put my head forward. I will nod and thank him, but I will step back and let the two knights bring their swords forward.
Okay.
My faith is so low. I question whether I think it's much effect. But if it makes the priestess feel better to bless the sword,
well, fortunately, this depends on my faith, not yours.
Oh, me of little faith.
Oh, me.
Yes. Oh, you of little faith. We may have plans for you of little faith.
I see this going horribly wrong.
It will add 10% to your skill chance when attacking an enchanted or an undead creature.
Nice, 10%.
So I'll go fetch my my mail now
and reduces my temporary spirit down to 5.
Yeah.
So do you use spirit to cast your spells?
Unless you were successful with your prayers.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes, I should roll for that.
Successful. Yeah.
So my faith is 75%. I am
in game.
Nope.
In game, when a priest wants to perform a miracle or an act of faith, they make a roll against their faith skill, and if successful, they regain any spirit that they've spent for that prayer.
So I do regain it.
To if you're an evil priest, an evil priest doesn't regain spirit from successfully performing a miracle. They have to sacrifice stuff.
Now, since I got a full night's rest, do I get my focus points back?
It recharges, doesn't it? No, at the end of the week, it'll recharge 3 points.
At the end of the week, okay. So this is not a game where you want to be slinging spells everywhere. It's a precious commodity, right?
Unless you want to burn through your fatigue and cast spells and then rest up.
Gotcha.
I mean, just as an aside, I will say that CNS was one of the first games that included a downtime, so it tends not to be the continuous adventure. It's spurts of activity wherein you may use pretty much all of your resources in a day or two, and then you might spend a month,
relaxing,
2 months,
right?
Healing,
and
especially for wizards, you gain less experience points from adventuring. You gain the most by
staying put and studying
your books.
Yeah, I like it. It makes sense.
And also, as a mage, you don't have to have all your spells ready during the adventure. A mage can actually spend time before adventure casting spells and having a trigger at the end of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can have say a fireball on an acorn, and it's triggered when you shout a command word.
Right. Well, you would you throw the acorn?
So you could spend
absolutely,
or use a hand catapult, or you could cast it onto an arrowhead.
Oh, gotcha.
So the mages in the game can spend time preparing before they actually go out on an adventure. And the fatigue they've spent casting spells, they can then spend a couple of nights sleeping, recovering all the fatigue, but have a bag full of sling stones or whatever.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess if we're all set, we're ready to sally forth. Yes.
And see these. Was it the ruins we were going to?
No, I thought we were going to the village that had the graves robbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very holy, but also very forgetful.
Okay. Sir,
now which god did I worship again?
Yeah.
She's been praying to the wrong god for the last 3 days.
I hate it when that happens.
You just dodged the bolt of lightning.
So Edmund would look at everybody and say, why don't we go to the cemetery here and see if something is amiss before leaving the village? Because the corpse we found was at this village, and if the same thing would happen here, that's where we should look first before departing.
Good thinking.
Is there like a village elder or someone?
There is a village reeve. Yes, the head of the village who reports to the lord of the manor.
So why don't we do what every GM loves in a game? Why don't we split the party? The Magnus and the knight or the herald, and then the priest and the knight. Me and the herald, if everyone agrees, will go see the village reeve, and then you two can go check the cemetery, and then we'll meet back here at the inn and say an hour.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Yep. Stephen, just to help you out with GMing. I'm just here to help, buddy.
That's great. I love it if you fractures into individuals as well.
Okay. I would like to roleplay me going to the privy.
Okay. There is an outhouse by the
Didn't tell me there was a snake in it.
Oh no, the privy is slightly overflowing, as most medieval privies are, and as you approach it, you're having to walk through. You're not sure what, but it's about an inch and a half deep.
No, I don't. I'll hold it. Yeah, I'll hold it. I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'll go back to the knight and we'll go check with the reeve.
Let's
use a hedge.
why there's no gong farmer here.
That's the kind of GM you got to look out for. He'll give you everything you want.
It's amazing where these hunter spiders find as well.
All right. So, yeah, does that sound good?
You will do the same again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it sounds good.
All right.
Okay. So, Dan, you and Andrew head off to the Reeve. Andy and Nasa, you head off to the cemetery. Okay. John and Andrew, you approach the Reeve of the village. What can I do for you, sirs? And he doffs his head to Andrew's character.
I'll let you do all the talking.
Well, we wish to know whether there has been any disturbance of late. Yesterday we came and then we found there was a corpse.
That's the first we've had in the area. We have dispatched somebody to head towards the nearest castle to request the assistance of one of the king's travellers. They're known as the Judge Dreads of the medieval world. They're judge, jury, and executioner. They never remove their full helms, and they always wear black.
I am the law.
But no, we've not had anything like this before. But there has been some light seen at the ruins.
What matter of lights?
So torchlights flickering at night.
Now, is it?
Meanwhile, Andrew and Napa, you've headed to the cemetery, and as you're looking around the graves, you spot two graves that appear to be freshly opened. And they've been opened from the inside out.
Okay, no need to look for the sexton then. This is indeed unholy work.
Yeah, what you can see in the graves is broken coffins, tunnels, don't know where they've gone, and the corpses have been partially dismembered and munched upon. Meanwhile, back to Andrew.
I'm not sure what this church goes for, but...
Meanwhile, John and Andrew, right. Yes, and we've sent somebody off, but we've not had anybody brave enough to go to the ruins yet to investigate.
Now,
which is why we've sent for one of the travellers.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Prayer for guidance. Which way is the adventure? That way.
We're going that way. Thanks for running, Stephen. Bye, everybody. Me and the head.
Notices the tunnels seem to be heading towards the direction of the ruins.
Crap.
Oh, right. So, hold on. Sorry, the tunnels are in the grave. It's not that they've been... Okay, so something's tunneled in, taken the corpses, eaten the corpses, and then broken out of the grave.
Yeah.
How big are these tunnels?
Ooh, they're about 4 foot across.
That's hands and knees sort of territory. We need a small child.
He looks at
A surf boy or something like that would do.
Are you serious?
Well, I can cast a prayer over him.
or her. We're not sexist. It could be a male or a female.
Okay. So back to Andrew and John. The Reeve turns to you and said, "Would you, sirs, be brave enough to venture to the ruins to find out what's going on?"
Well, we'd be very happy to, except we're convinced that the knight we're travelling with would insist that he goes first. That is Sir Edmund, whom is so famous you must have heard of him.
Now doesn't ring any bells. Was he the one enjoying a drink in the inn last night?
Well, I mean, it was a reasonable drink.
But if he's such a knight and such a noble knight, he could not possibly refuse to look into the disturbance in the ruins. It would be against his honour.
So I'll convey this to him.
An honourable knight would step forward to protect a village and investigate any possible horrors.
Yes. Well, I'm sure Sir Edmund knows more about being an honourable knight. Don't you agree? Let's go talk to him. But one thing before we go, what are these ruins of exactly?
It's an old keep.
Does it have a name?
The keep of Rufus.
And was it slighted, or how did it come to be in ruin?
Oh, disuse has not been occupied for 3-4 generations at least.
So a long time.
Well,
And no doubt the rain got in when the peasants stole the lead.
I mean, it had lead.
Not anymore.
I shall fetch Sir Edmund. No doubt he will want to investigate this ruined keep.
Okay, so are you heading over to the cemetery?
Well, we said we were going
at the cemetery.
Well, we said we were going to meet up at the inn.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we decided on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the cemetery, are you searching around for a small child?
No. No, it's been put to me that this would go against Sir Edmund's honour, even though it's fully in keeping with the principles of the church.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I mean, just wandering a churchyard looking for small children. I mean, it's
There's so many jokes there. I just can't even do it.
I'm a member of the clergy.
You're so lucky you're playing a female priest, because if you were a male priest, we'd have some issues going on here, buddy.
So you don't know much about nuns.
Well, you know why they call them nuns, because they don't get none.
None of the above.
None of the above.
yes. Yeah.
So
So-
I think Sir Edmund would say to the priest, I think we should find another way. No child.
No, well,
That'll
Let
put
us
him in
see.
danger.
let's see what the others have found out from the reeve.
Let's go.
So we'll head to the inn.
You all meet up back at the inn.
I have good news, Sir Edmund.
We have volunteered you for a
We've found
mission.
an honourable quest. We've found you an honourable quest worthy of your renown and prowess.
Speak.
Why, a story which I shall happily say at every feast and tourney hereafter. How Sir Edmund did lead an expedition to the keep of Rufus to discover the source of the strange lights, which the village reeve has reason to believe is the cause of yesterday's unfortunate discovery. No doubt the lights, by the way, were lit by unseelie creatures. Mark my word on this.
There's
necromancer.
evidence that demons have been in the cemetery.
He looks
Two
at
graves
had demons of
open
light.
from within.
the herald and says, noted. He conveys what we found out in the cemetery to the wizard, because he seems to be the one who knows what this is. He's the guy who is closest in his information about this.
Have a
So-
little faith in your other companions.
Yeah. Now that's what he thinks.
So,
So he's
Steve,
gonna tell him about the cemetery.
so after the knight tells me of this, is this something I'm familiar with? Does this make sense to the necromantic lore that I know? Or is that something I need to roll?
Stealing bodies.
Yeah.
For necromancers, stealing body parts to make magical items. A really good necromancer would love a femur bone as his wand. That sort of thing.
Gross. So I'll agree with what the Lord Knight saw and the priest, and I'll ask the knight, if Lord Otto, if he's going to proceed with this quest. As I've got my book open and I'm writing notes, verily did Lord Otto decline this quest? Surely he is afraid. No, I wouldn't put that.
We have to.
Yeah. So I would note the date and the date and the season and everything in my book, because obviously one day this will be, the trials and tribulations of Magnus Barnabas. So I'll document as much as I can.
Okay, so it's sort of mid-morning, and you setting off to the ruined keep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
On our horses, I should think.
Do we have our horses with
I
us,
was
like
thinking-
in the stable? Do I have horses tied up in the stables?
Ooh.
I'd have to say I might have a horse. I think.
Have a check your equipment if there is a
Yep.
horse listed.
I do have a
horse.
medium war horse with appropriate saddle and bridle.
Okay.
I have a riding horse.
I can ride a horse. I have the skill.
I have feet.
I have feet.
I
They're not actually listed on my character sheet.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, can I go to
Depends. Yes, they are listed.
can I go to the local steep stable and see if I could rent a cart with a mule? Is that something they could provide?
You want a cart?
Yes.
We haven't. No, we've got the 2 oxen. We can let you borrow the oxen.
There's no cart. Very well. That's fine.
There is a cart. No, there is a cart, but we haven't got horses to pull it. We've got oxen.
Well, what would be a fair fee to rent your ox and cart so that we may go investigate the Rufus Keep?
The reeve turns to one of the other villagers, and they start chatting. And they look at you, look at the sort of nobles in your party. I'm thinking, 20 silver pennies.
That's a month's wages for a labourer.
How about 10 silver pennies, and we bring back the cart and the ox?
Okay.
All right. Me lord, pay them.
Okay.
I ain't got no money. Actually, I will put in two silver pennies. I have some money, so I have 6 silver pennies.
Okay. They bring the oxen, and they hook the cart onto it.
Now,
I hold
I
out a
must-
bowl and say 10% of income should be tithed to the church.
They give you 1 silver penny.
Thank you.
Sir, by the way,
if you want to ride an oxen's litter, you have to pay for it.
out of game, the price, it's very expensive, right? What they're
Yes,
charging.
ridiculously expensive.
Oh God, ridiculous! Yeah, you're looking at a silver penny is a day's wage.
Yeah, I think Sir Edmund would look at them and say, "You're overcharging us for."
Sir Edmund, to bargain with these people is clearly beneath you. Let the mage do it.
I fireball them. We take the cart. No. I will offer 10 silver pennies. That is the most that I will pay.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, they accept that.
I thought that deal was done, to be honest.
Yeah, I did too.
But the
So-
adventure's this way.
the knight though, the knight ain't having none of that. The knight's like, what? You don't give it to me for free? What's wrong with you? Which is how a knight would do it, right?
Like he felt like we were being taken advantage
Oh,
of.
totally. Yeah, you were totally right, Nasser.
But you're usurping the whole social order. We have horses. You have feet. That's how it's supposed to be. Don't try to get yourself a horse. It's unseemly.
Yes. You have a cart and you have
Why exactly are we taking an oxen cart?
I just thought so we didn't have to.
We're
It's
going
3 days travel.
Fight unholy creatures.
Okay, all right, fine. I take my 10 silver pennies back and I start walking towards the keep. Screw you guys. Taking my toys and going home.
Damn! I was hoping somebody was going to try making a droving check.
Well, I have
So you get 9 silver pieces back. What's been given to God is God's.
True. I'll just take it off your corpse later. It's okay. I'm this close to being a necromancer. I just need one of you to die. That's all I need.
I really must work on my conversion methods.
Yeah, they're not very attractive right now. You must be an ugly woman.
All I say is it's 10% of everything. You know? It adds up.
All right, well, I guess we start walking to the keep. We let the knight lead, of course.
Yeah. Okay. As you walk towards the keep, just after lunchtime, you notice something in the undergrowth, and it's a shield.
Uh-oh.
What is on the shield?
Do I
Is there a
recognize?
device?
Yeah, it's a blue shield with 3 white arrowheads on it.
Do I know to whom those arms belong? If I
Make a heraldry roll.
I was going to say, is that going to be the heraldry of where they sent for the knight?
I succeed with a 7 on the crit die.
Yeah, that's the heraldry of a young knight called Sir Timothy, who's from Caer Dorin, which is not that far away. It's perhaps a day's travel. But as you're examining the shield, you notice that it's been fairly bashed, and on the inside there are a lot of scratch marks from some claws.
Well, look around.
This was made by the same creature that ripped off that knight's face.
Yeah, you can also see now some footprints in the bracken heading towards the village. So somebody's running away from here.
Is that and that corpse was found near the village, so that's our supposition is that this is him running away.
Yeah.
Presumably before his face has been ripped off.
It makes it easier that way.
There's no face near the shield.
No.
Right.
There are bits of blue surcoat.
And there were
blood.
There were some on the body as well of blue, right?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Well, clearly this is the scene of the unholy assault.
I agree.
It is. Surely we should travel to Caer Dorin to let the folk there know of Sir Timothy's unfortunate demise.
Would it be protocol to take his shield and return it to the castle? Since we can't bring his body, because, well, you guys burnt it.
It would. For nobody else would carry his arms. That being said, since this is on the path between the village and the keep, we can leave it here and collect it on the way back.
Yeah.
You don't think somebody else would take it or something? I mean, is that something we have to worry about? I don't know the game world that well, so excuse me for asking dumb questions.
Anybody caught carrying somebody else's heraldry will be likely to be challenged to trial by combat.
Okay. So it's relatively safe to think that it would be okay if we left it here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will make a note in my book that we're going to grab that shield and what the heraldry is. I would draw the heraldry and then, make a note that we'll return it back to the castle in case he has any kin.
just out of the game for a moment. John, your video has frozen for me. I don't know if it's frozen for anyone else.
No, it's fine for me.
Yeah.
For me.
Just give it a second. It should start back up.
Yeah.
No problem.
I'll check
Okay,
the stream.
sorry for that interruption.
No, you're fine. Yeah, the stream is looking fine. Yeah. Everybody's good. So.
Great.
Okay, so you're continuing on towards the castle, restricted by the speed of feet. And after another 3 hours of walking, you approach the ruins of a keep. There's only two stories of this keep left. The top of it is all crumbled away, and you can see there's the ruins of some stone steps leading up to the first floor and the entrance to the keep.
When you say the ruins of steps, are they passable steps or?
Oh yeah, there's been the odd stone taken away because it's a flight of stone steps, so they're still solid enough to walk on, but they're not all 100% in place.
I would like to see
look at
sorry.
The odd one or two steps, there's been a block taken away, so half of the step is there, but they're still climbable.
Right.
I think we should take a look around, yes, before we just go walking in.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. Check if there are any fresh tracks around this place to see if somebody has visited this place or left this place. That's what I want to look for. So do I make a roll for, is it awareness? Because I don't think I have any tracking skills. Is it alertness?
It'll be alertness sight, and I'll give you a 40% bonus on it.
Okay, cool. So I have failed. Sorry, that is failed. That's above what I have. So
What's the crit die?
Crit die is a 2.
Okay, so what you've done, as you've been looking around, you found some tracks, and you're really worried because these are the tracks of a unicorn.
I think I would relay that information to everybody. Unicorns and undead.
And you said it was a demon.
Oh, it's an undead unicorn. So everybody knows that, right?
Well, there's rainbow hoof prints in the tracks.
It's a socially aware unicorn.
Yeah. Checking my knowledge, I understand that undead unicorn poops Skittles, right? Is that taste the rainbow? I'm just saying, you're making it up. I'm rolling with it, baby. So clearly, the knight must be sunstroke. The noonday sun is in his armor is. So I have no skill in it, but I'm going to walk around and just look for obvious signs that any layman would see of trespassing.
Okay, as you're wandering around, you do start to get an aroma, and you're starting to smell the stench of carrion.
Is it coming stronger from a certain direction, or like the keep?
Oh, it's as you're wandering around. As you're wandering around the keep, the smell is coming from. You think inside the keep, or around the keep, or underneath the keep?
So I will head back to Lord Otto and tell him that there is a strong stench of death coming from the keep, and sadly, I think we must venture forth. I say the priest leads the way.
Did you not clean your shoes after you went to the studio this morning?
The unicorn poop.
Let's.
Well, Sir Edmund, surely you will want the to.
I would like to
lead
lead
us.
I would like to scan the place to take a better look at the place before we enter, just in case danger Appears.
Okay.
You're
The
right.
lower floor of the keep is completely solid stone. First floor doesn't appear to have any roof to it. It's open to the air, but you can still see a couple of arrow slits on each side.
And
In particular, there are 2 arrow slits on the side with the staircase going up, one of which overlooks the staircase.
Makes sense.
so, okay. So
And
based on
my
that,
cautions tonight: fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
I agree. Shouldn't be those fools. And so, is there any other entrance other than like what's clear to us?
No, the only entrance is up the staircase and through the main gate, the main door,
So
which is hanging off its hinges and rotting.
yeah. So basically, we will be hit by those. If somebody had an arrow, they would get us if we actually.
Can we look at the arrow slits and see, are there arrows sticking out, or
Just in
You wouldn't
case.
see.
Is it possible for me to do an awareness? To see if I can alertness to see if I can see if there's some kind of a trap or if somebody is there actually.
I'll
guarding
give
the-
you a 20% bonus on your alertness site.
All right, so that is a 1%, and that is
1%.
a 2.
You can't see anything that would concern you.
oh, then it must be safe.
Yeah, I think he's convinced. I don't think they have
Okay.
whoever is in there is guarding this place. I think we should
Okay.
approach.
You can only go up the staircase single file. So are you going up first?
Yeah, definitely. I will go up first.
Well, the priest has something to say.
Gods of Marakush, grant me the strength to face whatever awaits us within this keep.
Okay.
Okay.
pray-
2/3 of faith skill chance for this to work. My faith is
Fear not, Sir Edmund.
50%.
I shall guard the rear.
Whoa! Dice down.
Oh, no.
But my percentile is a 6. I had a 50% chance. I have failed in my prayer. It has gone unheeded.
Okay.
My prayer is unanswered.
So you still spend the spirit.
I do spend the spirit. That is, what was I doing? Prayer for strength of the righteous.
Okay.
6 spirit. Okay.
Okay. So out of game, one of the attributes that characters have is spirit, and you have your fixed spirit as an attribute, but you start off with a current spirit which is identical. As you do holy acts for your deity, your current spirit can increase. Likewise, if you do something bad, you sin, you lose spirit. So if you were playing a historical game and you're a Christian character and you've killed a beggar, so you've lost spirit. As a penance, you could flog yourself and gain your spirit back. And there is in the game, there's a lot of lists of sins and what penances you can do.
But essentially, my prayer being unanswered has shaken my faith a little.
So do you lose faith?
I lose
Yeah,
some
so-
spirit, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, if my prayer's answered, then I don't.
nice.
Okay. Okay, so Knight is going up the staircase. Who is going up next?
Yep.
Okay, right. Andrew and John, can you make an alertness sound check with a plus 50% bonus?
A plus what?
Did you say
50 to your
plus
TSC.
50?
For alertness sound. Ooh, I have a whopping 7%.
As will most
So
people.
do I, but I succeeded.
Do I make
Thanks to
one
the
as well?
plus 50, I succeeded with a 5.
Okay. And John?
I failed by 23% and 24%, and I rolled a 10 on the crit die.
Ooh, it's the 24% doesn't matter. That's a simple success or fail, but the 10 means that's a critical failure.
Well, I did give a plus 40% bonus to
Yeah,
TSC.
I still failed.
47%.
I had a 47%, and
If
I
you roll
rolled
20
I rolled 73.
Oh, 73.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're completely oblivious, and you're watching the knight going up the staircase and think, oh, trip, trip, trip. Meanwhile, the herald has heard something behind him.
Yes, so since I already had my shield and sword ready to guard the rear, I spin around thinking I didn't really intend this to be an arduous mission to guard the rear. But what do I see?
Right, you see two creatures that have dug themselves out of the ground. A humanoid. They've sort of bent over and squat. They've got long, dank, dark nails, claws. They've got luminous eyes. They've got ichor dripping from their maws. And they're stalking towards you.
Now, do I need to make a fairy law roll to assume that these are not, in fact, unseelie?
These are definitely not unseelie.
Okay, no roll required.
No roll required.
I cry out, "Hi, we are undone!"
Okay.
Two creatures.
Okay, the mage can hear him.
Come back down.
The priest can hear him. Over the night, as he's got to the staircase, something's come out of the doorway, and it's another one of these creatures. So, we enter combat, and for combat, each person rolls a d10.
Okay.
There's a 5 on my turn. What do I think?
And on your character sheet, you will have your base action points.
20 total for me.
20 total for you.
Now, it would be 23 for me, but because we're wearing heavy armor, also...
Where would the base action points be on the first sheet?
Okay.
Yeah, above
on the sheet.
4 o'clock.
Everybody spoke at once, so I couldn't. BAP.
Sorry.
I see
BAP.
body points. I don't see BAP.
Down a bit.
Oh, BAP. There you go.
Just above your attributes.
Yes, I found it. So, and I will add the D10 roll to that number.
To that, yes.
Okay. So I got a 21 total.
And I would have had a 23, but because I'm wearing heavy armor, I have 20. Because heavy armor reduces my...
That is a good point. I am also wearing heavy armor.
I think I'm wearing a male suit. Male suit.
Heavy armor.
Yeah, heavy armor. Yeah.
So
John is unarmored, so he gets an extra 3 action points if I may.
Thank you.
It does.
Probably didn't. Being new to the game,
Yeah. And Andy?
I'm on an 11.
11. Ooh.
11.
Andrew, I'd like to point out that I am not unarmored. I have a knight in front of me and a knight behind me. I'm sandwiched between love. I'm safe. That ghoul has to go through Nasser first before he gets to me.
only until we both fall.
Yeah, but then they'll be full, and I can run. I can run away. Brave Sir Robin ran away. You know.
Okay, so how combat works is you each take an action in action point order. You can take actions up to a total of 10 action points. Once everybody's taken an action, we then go into the second phase, and we now go in order of the new total action points.
Right. So you subtract.
So somebody using a knife may start off slower, but then get quicker, because then it's not as many action points as a sword.
It's a faster way.
In this case, John, at 24, you go first.
Right. I would draw my dagger, and I think in the spirit of the game, and knowing that I wouldn't be slinging spells left and right, so to speak, I think I'm going to hold and just basically protect myself with my dagger and my staff, and wait to see.
Okay.
Because I know these aren't the big baddies. The big baddie is yet to come, and I don't want to burn out all my mana reserves before we run into that. So if things go south, then I will step up with the magic. But until then, I'm going to be purely defensive.
Okay, so Andrew, you're first.
Okay. So how far away from me are the horrible creatures?
They're about 30 feet away.
Ooh, okay. And I do have my shield and my sword already drawn. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. And because they're now upwind of you, can you make a stamina roll?
Oh, they have like a stench ability, basically.
Yep. And it's stamina minus 10.
So all of us.
Oh no, minus 10. If you hadn't said minus 10, I'd have told you I succeed. So I fail on a 5.
Okay.
Okay, so do I
You
make
get minus
that?
20. You've got to make that as well, NASA.
All right.
Oh, you all have to make it.
Oh.
Andrew, you're at minus 20 TSC to all of your skills.
62.
Oh.
Okay.
That is brutal.
Okay.
It is.
I made it with a 62. Then the crit is 3.
Okay. Crit's not so
succeed
important.
with a 2.
Okay. John?
Now, I don't see my stamina.
It's under your base skills, and it's the third one.
Oh, sorry,
down.
stamina roll, not a.
Oh,
No, even
Oh,
on stamina roll, I get it.
okay. And you said there was a negative to this roll?
Minus 10.
Oh, so I have to roll a 31.
Yeah.
I rolled a 92.
Right. Now on your crit die.
As a 2.
Okay, so you're sort of gagging from the stage. So, but minus 20% to all of your skill chances
Okay.
while you're in the vicinity of these creatures.
So is there
Okay,
any space behind me?
As a mage, try not to retch.
Okay.
Clearly, all of my time spent waving incense around has rendered my nostrils somewhat immune to this.
Yes.
Show off.
Well, look, I'll take I guess a step forward. I'll move forward 5 feet and spend one action point. But that's what I'll do. I'll just do that.
So you're just advancing 1. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
you know,
NASA.
holding my shield.
I think I will. Do I know that there's?
You can hear the yells behind from the herald, and you've got one of these creatures right in your face, and he's breathing down your neck, literally.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get rid of this guy, and then so I can go back and help everybody else. So I'm gonna try to get him out of the picture. So I will slash at this guy with my sword.
Okay.
Try to cut him down, and I believe I have a 10% because of the
10% bonus.
Yes. So
yeah.
All right. Let's see.
And what's the 10% bonus from?
The blessing.
weapon.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a crit die of 6, and then I passed 62 because my PFS is PSF is 80. Sorry, 90 because of Andy.
So,
and the damage should... Sorry?
Yeah, the AP cost?
AP cost. Where do I find that?
Sir Edmund
your weapon AP cost.
Weapon.
Knight's broadsword.
Okay,
on your first page.
okay, 50. 50. Sorry, 7. That's a 7.
Yeah, and 18 slash damage plus your crit die.
Which is a 6.
So you've done 22 damage.
Is this guy still up?
Oh god, yes.
Looks like it's
You don't have to be rude about it, Steve. Oh God, yes. You've merely scratched him. He's about to eat your
But
face.
what was the crit die, NASA?
It was a 6.
Oh, one off a bash.
So, Steve, can you explain?
Their return.
Steve,
Right.
can you explain like what the bash was? Like explain the procedure of combat.
Okay, but you roll against your skill chance to see if you've hit, basically, and your crit die is the extra damage that you do with your weapon. Each weapon has got a modifier to that crit die. If the modified crit die is 10 or higher, you get a critical hit, and you get an extra D10 damage that ignores armor. Weapons also have a bash score. Now, for the Knight Broadsword, that's an 8. If the modified crit die is the bash score or higher, you will have a chance of bashing the opponent, i.e., knocking them to the ground, knocking them back 5 feet. If you're a really big creature like a giant or a troll, and they bash you, they can knock you flying 10 feet or more.
Wow, cool. And now the action point cost is so. What's your action point total for like say for Nasser's Knight? Because the sword cost him 7, right?
Yeah, he started off with 18.
When that
He can spend up to 10 in a phase. Because of his experience and skill, his Knight Sword costs him 7 action points.
wow,
As you improve your skills, the AP cost for using a weapon reduces.
right? Excellent. Okay.
And it's designed that if you're an archer and you're a really, really good archer, you can get 20 shots off in a minute of game time.
Wow. Okay. And so your BAP, that's your basic action point, and that also determines your initiative combined with the D10 to put you in the initial order. But it's also what you spend, so it's an economy to make attacks.
Yeah.
Because your weapon costs a basic amount of action points. Okay, got it.
And you also spend action points to move.
Right,
to change
right. Like Andrew spent 1 to move. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And there's a whole table here of action point costs.
Excellent.
now at the moment we're doing it theatre of the mind, so it's a sort of fairly vague. But if you're face to face on the tabletop and you want to make it really tactical, minute by minute, action point costs really do make a difference.
Right.
With how you're actually playing the combat.
So miniatures would be a lot of fun with this because it would add an extreme tactical amount to it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And the
I
other
like
thing
it.
is your damage usually comes first off your fatigue points.
Right.
You're also spending fatigue to move rapidly or to make defenses.
Right.
If you're out of fatigue, you lose 10 action points per round. So it slows you down.
Right. It makes sense. You're tired.
Yeah, and you can't actively defend. You can only sort of
Right.
passively defend, just try and get a shield in the way or,
Right.
slowly move aside. And
I like
it's
it.
not as effective.
Very, very. It just makes sense. The big strong guy is going to have more to do, but then the big strong guy is also going to probably be wearing armor and have a heavy shield and a heavy sword. So that's going to fatigue him. Just the guy with no armor and a dagger could be potentially deadly.
The other thing is armor reduces the damage that you take, but if a shield is hit by a weapon that does more damage than the shield can absorb, there's a cumulative 10% chance the shield will shatter.
Right. Excellent.
So shields aren't invincible.
Right. Nor should they be.
So it's the ghoul's turn. So we'll do.
Oh, look, we're out of time. We've got to end the stream. Sorry. Thanks.
Yeah, NASA, you get hit by a medium claw. and you take
Is it right?
17 slash damage.
17 slash damage, right?
All right. So how does that work?
Okay, so first of all, NASA will look at his character sheet to look at his armor.
So
And
it says
will have hit you.
99897.
So the first one will be your slash defense.
All right.
Now, are you using a shield?
Yeah, I guess I was, because it says here I have a shield. Go
But
ahead.
if you want to spend a fatigue point, you can put your shield in the way.
I guess I will spend a fatigue
And-
point to save myself. That gives me a plus 15, I believe.
Okay, so look at the shield, and is it a heavy reinforced shield?
Heavy range shield, that's what it says. Yeah, reinforced.
Heavy reinforced shield, yeah. And that's got a defense of 16. So
Yeah.
it stops 16 points of that 17 damage. So 1 point goes through onto your arm. On your arm, you have 10 points of armor. So it's not enough to get through the shield and your armor on your arm.
Nice.
However, there's a 10% shield has failed.
So roll your percentile dice and see if your shield survives.
Nice.
All right, let's
I like
see
it.
if Mr. Shield has survived. Do I roll it with the crit die as well?
Doesn't need the crit die. The crit die
Okay,
can just
there
add
you go.
flavor.
36 and 5 for the crit die.
So the shield took it and it hasn't shattered. Okay, Andrew, the two other ghouls,
Yes.
they're spending their action points charging up.
Ooh. I prefer for you to say something less threatening than ghouls. By the way, that's, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Staples, your turn.
How far away am I from Lord Otto and the ghouls now?
The soon-to-be late
You're right.
Lord Otto.
You're on the bottom of the staircase.
Yeah.
You're about 40 feet away from them.
Okay, so I don't have enough action points to charge to them, because that would be 2 action points to sprint there and attack. So I will charge at them and attempt to body bash one of them out of the way.
Okay, so you spend 10 action points and you charge up to them. Okay.
It's only
you
about
make a
40
percentage
feet, isn't
roll?
it? Pardon?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
make
40
one
feet.
roll?
Can you make a percentage roll to see if you actually bounce into one of them?
Oh, that's a 79 on the percentile and a 9 on the crit die. What am I rolling against?
Yeah, my discretion.
Okay. Oh dear, I hate GM discretion. When it's Steve.
Yeah, you pile into one of them, and yes, you've bashed them. What's your body weight?
My body weight is 185 pounds. I'm also wearing a male hauberk.
Yeah.
Which I'm just looking quickly for the weight of. I don't have written down here, but is going to be fairly heavy, I guess.
40 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that should make me heavy. Yes, humanoid in armor. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you've piled into him, and you've bashed him to his knees. He loses 10 action points.
Nice. Well done.
Do I gain a combat advantage?
You do indeed.
Now's the time
And
for
so-
swording. I will spend the fatigue required to take a free attack.
Yeah, this is one of the things, John, in the combat, is if you do something out of turn, such as a bash, and you succeed, you get a combat advantage, which allows you to make a free strike No AP cost, but you have to spend a fatigue point to do it.
So he's playing to the priest strengths here.
Yep, I'm now down to 20 fatigue, which isn't an awful lot. And my attack is a hit with an 8 on the crit die, but my sword has only a +1 with a knight's sword. Okay, so it's another bash.
Okay, so what you've done is it's going to be a -10 APs to start with next round, and you've actually bashed him down to the ground.
Fantastic. He's now prone and hit bonuses again.
And how much damage?
20 slashing.
20 slashing
in total.
Okay, and yes, another combat advantage.
Well, I'll spend another fatigue point then.
So this is where once the momentum gets going, it's in this case it's in the player's favor, and as long as he has the fatigue points to spend, he can just wail, right?
In the campaign that Andrew Marrington runs, I play basically a light fighter, lightly armored. The way that I play that depends very much on how many fatigue points I've got left.
Right.
With fatigue, I can do a lot. As I get more and more tired, I want to get behind the people who are heavily armored.
Right. Right. So, for argument's sake here, Steve, what are the rough hit points of the ghouls, so we kind of have an idea of how the combat is going?
Okay.
For people that don't know the system,
okay.
We as the players would know.
Okay. The ghoul's body points is 49.
Oh, okay.
And their fatigue is 32.
And is that relatively average?
That's usually higher than what a player might have.
Yeah.
It's got me beat.
I have 38 body points and 27 fatigue points for my character in this game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
for the time being,
baby dragon.
Say what? Say again, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have 39 body points and 26 fatigue points.
Right. Okay. So so these guys are a little tougher.
Yeah. A baby dragon might have 79 body and 110 fatigue.
Now, with experience, is that something the player character can raise?
Dragons, man.
Yes, you can raise your body and your fatigue, but limited.
Right.
You can raise your body to a maximum of a quarter of your starting body extra. And I think your fatigue, it's half, Steve, going off memory?
Yeah, it's half, yeah.
I'd like to point out that Steve has mentioned Baby Dragon 3 times. So
there's something going on there. I'm thinking of it as like the fantasy equivalent of Baby Shark. No, Baby Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your combat advantage, Andy. So you've got this ghoul, you've knocked it to the ground.
I missed completely.
Even with the prone bonus.
Actually, prone bonus. That's a good point. I was forgetting that. So my sword is, even with the prone bonus.
Okay, so you hit the ground next to it. Okay,
the ground knows it's been smote.
Okay, so that brings to the end of the first combat phase. A combat round in CNS is reckoned to be about 15 seconds. And so you usually get about 3 phases, so that's like the first 5 seconds of combat.
I don't.
So
I only get one phase. I've rolled poorly.
So, back to the top of the round. John, you're on 24 APs left.
Right, because I didn't do anything, right? So therefore it didn't cost me anything. Yeah. All right, so now kind of seeing how it's going, and I'm thinking that there's 2 ghouls behind us. The priest has verily smoted one of them, and it's on the ground. But our herald doesn't seem to be holding his own, and I think the knight in front of me has things well under hand. So I think I would like for the force of narrative, I would like to, having my Magus staff, and I reach my hand out and I say some arcane words, and I would like to cast blurred image on the Herald, and that should make him harder to hit.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that is one of my focus spells. So it's one of the spells I chose. So I burn the focus charges off my staff. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it cost me 2, I believe.
Two charges.
Blurred image has an MR of 1, but it still costs 2 charges. Is that correct?
No, 1 charge.
One
if
charge.
It's MR1, it's 1 charge.
All right. And now and it's off my Hex Master mode is what I would cast it off of, correct?
Yeah, and you get a bonus of 5% because you're using the focus.
All right. So, and now is that already factored into my TSC, or it is not because they don't know? Yeah.
It isn't, no.
So my 68 becomes a 73 minus the
yes.
20% for the ghouls
Yes.
thing. So that knocks me
Yes.
down to 53%.
3%.
So better than half, right? So I'm trying here, Harold. I'm trying.
This is the holy gesture of my church.
You're giving me the blessing.
I am suddenly finding religion, by the way.
I rolled a 97.
Oh, well, in that case,
I rolled a 97 with a 4 on the crit dice. Now, that being said, is there any way to garner a reroll? Is there any
no.
mechanic? So you fail. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't
No.
failed. The spell has been cast. The spell has been cast.
Oh no!
you just haven't
just
targeted it.
Just didn't target the Herald.
I targeted the ghoul.
If you'd have rolled a crit 10 or a crit 9, as an evil bastard GM, I'd have said you've targeted the ghoul.
Which is what I would have done too. All right.
However, on a crit die of 4,
Oh dear God, there's 2 of them.
you can see the tree behind the ghoul has suddenly gone out of phase.
Well, maybe that will distract the ghouls.
Now, as a regular CNS GM who's never pulled that particular act of
I
bastard,
know.
I'm
Now
I'm
you're
hoping
giving my
this goes
GM
on
ideas.
YouTube.
And it's on YouTube,
it's
Andrew, so
Making
you
my
could go
players
back and watch
it.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, if the lead designer says this is what I can do, so
Right. So now, Steve,
Okay, I have a
since I failed to cast it, I still spend the charges off my focus, right, out of my staff. They're gone.
Yes.
And I have a total of 9 charges.
Yeah,
So-
you haven't failed to cast it. You failed to target it.
Correct.
You have cast it.
So, and now my initiative goes down by 10? From
No,
20
because it's using the
7.
focus.
It says.
It's classed as it says as a cantrip.
It counts as a cantrip,
anything
yes.
more. Yeah, so it's just 7 that you've spent in
Right.
action points.
Okay. So then, so instead of 24, I go down by 7 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so you're on 17.
Now you can take up to 3 action points more actions if you want. So you could retreat to be further away from the ghouls if you preferred, or you could advance towards them. You don't have to spend them, but you can spend up to 10 at one go.
Oh, okay. See, gotcha. I think I'm going to stand. I've got
So
my
you-
staff and my dagger out in front of me. Right. I'm ready.
Okay.
I got Nasser's back. I'm go team. Go team. You can do it. Remember, I just need one of
Okay,
you to
Andrew.
die. Parts is parts.
Okay, well, so there's a ghoul that's within sword reach of me that's prone,
Yes.
and another ghoul
Uh,
that's not prone that's facing my shield.
He's okay.
Yes.
I'm glad he's happy.
Okay, well, in my sickened state, I will slash down at the ghoul that's
One
on
that's
the
prone.
ground, rather than
Okay.
yes. I'm milking
you'll
every
get-
bonus
you'll
I
get-
can get here. So
And does that give him a bonus
so-
to hit?
20.
Because it's the
Prone.
ghoul on the ground is prone, he gets a bonus for his TSC for that.
So this is very much a game of where you have advantage or you have all the little things that add up. You want to definitely take them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I found in Andrew's game we were facing vampires. It was kind of tough for me to hit, and I found a really good way of dealing with them was to actually wrestle them to the ground and then try and stab them.
Nice. Okay. So creative
Or
thinking is
to
a
drag
must.
them into the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we must state at this
okay,
point
so-
is, out of game, what we must state at this point is, anybody playing CNS, you don't have to use all of the rules.
Right.
You can choose. It's optional.
Right. It's your game. Use it as you will.
So what
Andrew.
bonus do I get for the being prone, Steve?
I'm going to say plus 20 without looking through and finding it.
If he's 25, actually, I'm looking at the very page. If he's on the ground and
25.
lying prone but not stunned, it's plus 25.
Okay, so
Okay.
that gives me a net +5 because that counters my being sickened.
And
then I
plus
get
10
plus
for your
10
bless.
the blessing, which suddenly I have found religion, and so now I'm rolling against a TSC of 68. So, and I have rolled an 8 and a crit. I've rolled a crit, a 10 on the crit die.
So that's a critical
I'll-
hit.
Oh,
Yep, I roll an extra dice. So my base damage is 12 slashing plus 10 from the crit die. Actually, it's 11 because it's crit +1. Yeah. So, and then I've got an extra 6 on my extra dice. So I have 11, 17, 27, 29, 29
Okay.
slashing.
Can you roll to see where you've actually hit the ghoul?
So there is a hit
Okay.
location.
It's optional, but yes.
Yeah. But in this case,
Is
it
that
makes
hit?
sense.
It's optional, but there is a hit location. You just
Chest.
don't want to get hit in the groin. Chest, okay. Right, that's straight because he's prone. He's gone straight through the back and into the chest. If it had been a normal human, you would have punctured lungs. It'd have been bleeding out, broken ribs. But as it is, that ghoul is prone.
Okay. And maybe to explain for John and anyone who's new, a crit goes straight to the body, bypassing fatigue. So, yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and the extra D10 damage that's rolled ignores armor.
Nice. So how much total damage did you do?
29.
Wow.
29 and 6 was on the extra D10. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a solid hit.
Okay, so that's a solid hit. NASA.
all right. I think I will try to go slash at this guy again. But is there any way while I'm like, is he on the stairs that we were going up? Like, is there an opening to the side where I can
He's on the. Right, you are on a open staircase going up the side of the building.
Okay.
This ghoul is now standing on the landing of that staircase. There is no railing.
Oh, okay.
Push him off.
He
Yeah,
has a
that-
height advantage over you, a little bit.
Can I try to bash his legs with the shield and drop him down?
You want to make a shield bash? Make a shield bash then. Go heavy. Go with your shield play.
All right.
You got this, Nasser.
So what's what am I rolling against here for the shield bash?
Shield play.
It'll be
skill.
your shield play.
I do not have a shield play,
Uh-oh.
so no, I'm not
You
gonna
do.
do that.
You do
Oh.
top of your character sheet, second column, first page.
Slashing.
Shield play
yeah,
76%.
Yeah, 76. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'll do then.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 66 and 5 on the crit die.
Okay, so with the shield, you bashed into him. Okay. And he will make a agility roll, which on an 82 he fails. And you caught him just right on the knees. His knees go from underneath him, and he collapses onto his knees. And you have a combat advantage.
All right.
Spend a fatigue point and attack again.
All right. I will spend a fatigue point. And is there a possibility that I could use my sword now, or should I continue, keep slashing?
No, you could use your sword. If you want to, you could do an aim shot to the head.
Yeah,
Do it.
That's
Do it.
what I would probably want to do. Is decapitate this guy.
Okay.
Plus 10 on my.
Yeah.
What's the advantage? What does that give me? Does it give me any pluses? Because he's.
No, you've just got a height advantage. Okay. What's the roll?
Okay. 62, and I have and for the 8 for the crit die, and then I have. I think.
Okay, so you've certainly got a bash. So you've bashed him prone. You've hit him on the head, but it's not a critical. So how much damage have you done?
That's 16 plus the crit die, which is 8. And do I add anything else?
24.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you're starting to knock chunks out of him,
All right.
and you've got a combat advantage, Nasa, so you can have another go because you've now knocked him prone.
Okay.
So you could spend another fatigue point.
And get So this is just rapid pounding the shit out of the down creature.
I think I'm going to flash at him as well. That's
It's a technical term.
It is very technical.
4 on the crit. 4 on the
Okay,
crit.
so he doesn't appear to be moving.
Yeah. He's dead?
Well, he was already
He's not
dead.
moving.
He was already dead, yeah.
Dead before.
He's dead again.
And loving it.
Re-dead.
I like combat in
Andy.
Yeah, okay, I have one action point, and I'm gonna hold on to that for next turn. I can do nothing with that.
Okay, so there's the one ghoul that's standing, that is untouched, and he's looking at Andrew. He's looking at the staircase.
Now, Steve,
And this ghoul is...
I'd like to interrupt and say, remember, that tree over there is phasing in and out of shift. It may be enticing to the ghoul to attack it. I'm just saying. I'm just tossing that out there.
I'm just deciding, is that actually a normal tree or a fey tree? And if it's a fey tree, you really are in the shit. Meanwhile, the ghoul...
Pink Willow.
I tried, guys. I tried.
Meanwhile, this ghoul isn't completely stupid, and he's turns and he runs.
Oh, we can't let him get away, can we?
That's right.
Okay, is there anything...
You better run.
You better run. You don't want none of this.
Most of my spells protect us from these things rather than bring them down on the wing.
Can I attempt to shadow bolt it in the back just for shits and giggles?
Right. Have you seen the range of your shadow bolt?
No. Let me look at it.
Right. Okay.
Can I get an opportune attack as it runs?
You can get an opportune attack. And he's spending his 10 remaining APs to run. So he'll get about 50 feet away.
Wow. They move pretty quick.
And your shadow bolt...
Range 180 feet.
Shadow bolt have actually put on the front edge of your character sheet because it's...
So
you
good.
But you put the range on page 2. It's 180 feet.
Yeah, it's 60 times...
your magic level.
Magic level.
Right. And now, how do I know what my magic level is? Oh, third level. So, wow.
No, third level is not your magic level.
Oh, okay.
It could be the third level. If you spent a lot on your skill, your Hexmaster mode, you could have a magic level of 5, would be a third level character.
Gotcha.
He could have, but by curious coincidence, his magic level is 3.
Right.
Three,
And that's the ML there, right? It says PM.
Yeah.
PMF. What is that? What is that?
Personal magic factor. That's
Gotcha.
how powerful a mage you are.
Okay.
Somebody like Gandalf, that would be like in the hundreds.
Right.
High hundreds.
Again, name shaming is not helpful. Okay, I'm just starting out. There's no need to. I have a 68. It's respectable.
It is one of the things that Steve and I have discussed very, very many times. CNS being a game originally from the 70s,
Right.
Very, very acronym heavy.
I don't have a problem with it because once you know them, them. They're gonna flow, and I already feel like it's flowing. I mean, I'm getting the TSC and stuff, and I assumed ML was magic level. So 60 feet times 3, that's 180 feet, right?
Yeah, 80 feet.
So I can definitely zap this guy because we're quickly running out of time. So I don't. But I would like to at least get one decent spell off. So Shadow Boat, that is one of the spells that is not in my staff. So that costs me my mana reserve. I can't use a focus charge on that. In other words, correct? So
that's correct. So
and you
you have got enough APs that you can cast that as it's running away.
Okay.
It's not going to outdistance it.
Okay. So it would be a percentage chance under my Hexmaster mode?
It would be, yes, and it'll cost you 8 fatigue points.
Oof. Okay.
It says no targeting.
Is that a good thing?
No.
An automatic hit?
It's an automatic hit.
Oh, so I don't I still need to roll though to see if the spell goes off, correct?
You still need to make the crit die roll.
Oh, the crit die roll. But not the percentage roll.
Not the percentage because it automatically hits a target.
I rolled a 2.
Okay, so it's not a critical, but it does do.
Now it says damage 6E. What does the E stand?
It does. It's 6 energy damage.
Energy.
So
I see.
Hits it in the back. If you'd have got a critical, it would have done 22.
Oh, jeez. Ouch. So spells can be gnarly in this.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But hopefully that will reinforce that he shouldn't come back.
And not only that, it failed its con check.
Ooh. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it stands there dazed.
And see, now the Herald can go whack-a-mole.
Well, I think when I get the attack, the opportunity attack as it fled.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then so if I make like I've missed that on a 3. Sickened still. So, where's it been dazed? It's about 50 feet away?
It's about 60, 70 feet away at the point it gets dazed.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's running away. It's not going to bother you anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna let it run away. Yeah.
Okay.
In the Chronicle, cutting down a running enemy is not going to look good, even if it's a ghoul.
Okay.
Well, I would leave that part out.
Okay. So NASA, the doorway. So NASA, the keep is open to you.
All right. So, I think I would just continue going where I was going when this creature came in.
Inside, this floor is completely empty. There is a spiral staircase going down.
Oh, of course there is.
Is it
Well,
possible?
there's the ground floor.
Yeah, I think we'll take that down.
Okay.
If
Okay.
we're out
As you
of
climb
AP
down the
order,
ground,
I can move again and I'll join him. If we're still
Yeah,
in AP
yeah,
order,
right.
it's sort of like
no, combat is finished. It's back to normal game, and any other combat it'll be starting afresh. So NASA, you've gone in, and you start going down the spiral staircase. The rest of you, are you going into the peak?
Yes.
And,
yeah.
As you climb up the stairs, you go in, and you're just in time to see NASA's head disappearing down the spiral staircase.
I'll follow him down.
Yeah.
Trying to check whether his body is still attached to his head.
Yes.
Damn, I never thought about that trap.
You see his head going down the stairs. Yes,
Blub, blub, blub,
bouncing
blub.
off each one.
Yeah.
Poor Nasser. He's been sitting here being all quiet, being nice, very polite, and he's just the butt of all the jokes. That's not nice. Why you got to behead the knight? That's not nice. Behead the priest. That carries more weight.
Okay. Right, Nasser,
I have.
as you get down the spiral staircase, you enter a stone. The whole ground floor is just one chamber, but all around there are lots of lit candles, torches, casting shadows everywhere in the gloom. In the middle of the room is a stone altar, upon which is a book, 18 inches long, 11 inches wide, 4 inches thick. It's got gemstones set into each corner. The binding is some sort of leatherish cover, quite tanned. There is lead. You can definitely identify that there is lead wire running around the edge of the book, and there are huge clasps on either side of it.
This book will be mine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, are the rest of you going into the chamber as well?
Of course.
Yes.
Priest, we need a
Yes.
warding spell.
I'm thinking such. By all the gods, let me know there appear to be dark forces at work here. Give me a sign. Are there magical forces at play here?
Master.
Oh God. That cost me 3 more spirit. My prayer is not answered.
All right.
This is blasphemy. What
Okay,
is,
right. Nasser, can you make an alertness sight roll with a plus 70% bonus?
plus 70. All right.
Yeah, plus 70.
All right. Do I need to roll a crit with that as well?
No, you don't need a crit for this one.
So, if you've given me a plus 70 over for this alertness sight, then I have done well.
Okay, you notice on the cover of this book, as part of the leather covering, you can see what you think might be stone eyelids.
Stone eyelids.
Oh, sewn eyelids.
So, this book's cover has human skin on it. That's what you're trying to tell me.
If I was being really whatnot, I'd say on the back he's got made by Ed Gein.
That means nothing to us.
Okay, Ed Gein was who Psycho was based on.
Oh, gotcha. There you go. So, Nasser, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Get me that book.
Right, as you want. Okay.
It's the only thing to do with a book like that.
No, knowledge
Can
is
you all
power.
make? Can you
Exactly.
all make spirit rolls?
Spirit.
Oh God, my
It's a
spirit's
crit die.
reduced.
What's a spirit roll? I mean,
Against your actual spirit, not your current spirit, your actual spirit
Oh,
roll.
against actual spirit. Okay, that's
Okay.
much better.
68.
I fail on a 4.
where do I
Leaving on a 9.
spirit roll? Spirit. Ah, okay. So here's what happens. I rolled a 94, and my spirit is 58. I think
I'm with you,
Okay, and
brother.
what's the crit die?
it's a 4.
Okay, so everybody can hear this voice inside them and say, I am here to help you. Please, I can help you. All you have to do is open the book. The book is locked, but I have the words to open the book. Please, open me.
But I
And those who
also,
have failed,
but I succeeded on a 9. In my head, I also have George Michael singing, and you gotta have faith, the faith, the faith, the faith, the faith.
okay, those who have failed their spirit roll are so tempted, can you make them discipline roll to resist the temptation?
Now, are we still under the effects of the ghoul?
Oh, shit.
Oh God, no! No,
Okay.
you're no longer.
Woo! All right, so
I
discipline.
fail on an 8.
Sorry.
Fail on an 8 on discipline.
Can I pray for them to have strength in their faith?
I'm good. I passed, and the crit is 6.
Okay, so you're resisting, NASA.
I passed with a crit of 4.
Okay, so you're resisting the urge.
Let's just have a little look inside.
The Herald
Let's
is going
just have a little look.
He's got the book and he's sort of fondling it and he says, for some reason he's saying precious.
Is it possible for me to try to knock sense?
And you hear this voice, your voice saying, please, all you've got to do is put the hand on the clasp and say, release me, my lord, release me.
If I've got half a chance, I'm going to use my sword and smite the book.
Oh, the book.
Okay, you can suddenly step in and smite the book.
I've got to make a skill roll here. Oh God, I wish I was better with a sword.
Bearing in mind, the book is currently being clasped by the Herald, stroking it.
Steve,
Yeah.
You chop up my fingers. You're in deep.
Yeah,
Sleep.
Andrew, I've got some bad news.
Oh yes.
well, he hit, just not the book.
That would be a failure on a crit of 9.
Ooh.
You didn't really need that arm, did you?
Oh, the fingers. And Steven, since we're not in rounds at the same time, would I
I
be?
am wearing leather gloves. Just...
Oh, that helps a lot. Can I cast
see how we
sleep
go.
on the Herald?
You can, yes.
All right. So I'm not sure how to do that. I'm assuming it'll be a.
You need to target him.
Yes, I will target him. Because if he goes to sleep, he can't open the book. Correct.
On the other hand, if you miss and put the book to sleep, that could help as well.
And that's a 2 for
On
2
the other
points.
hand, if you put the priest to sleep, this explains why the priest has chopped the arm off.
Yikes! No pressure, right? No pressure. All right.
I mean,
so
there's a lot of chopping the arm off talk, you know.
yeah, right. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to help you. And this is one of my focus spells that's in my staff. So I spend 2 focus points, right? And then so what do I need to do? Because it's a different kind of spell.
It's still targeting. It's still your Hexmaster mode.
Okay.
You've got your 5% bonus, so 73.
So 73. All right. Wish me luck here. Stream's over. I don't want to play no more. I am the worst. Between the priest and the mage, we suck. I had a 68, or I had a 72, and I rolled an 86 with a crit die of 3.
Okay, so Andy, as you swing the sword to hit the book,
No.
sort of go, oh. How much damage did you do?
Me, it was a roll of 9. And I missed,
Yeah.
so that'd be 21.
We are our
Okay,
own
21.
worst
Can you roll an
enemies.
extra D10, please?
Pardon?
You roll an extra D10 damage.
Extra D10.
Extra D10. Okay.
It's a crit.
That's a 10. Roll
Oh.
another one.
Oh.
And that's an 8. So that's another 18 points. Bypassing your leather gloves.
Well, I only bloody had 7 points of armor. For this.
Okay, Andy, can you make a con roll, please?
Say again?
Right, Andrew, can you make a Constitution
Yes.
ability check,
Yes.
please?
Yes, yeah, I can. I
believe
can
he-
do that.
This is to see whether he's stunned or not, which, frankly,
Okay.
I'm stunned.
I can see him go into shock in a bit.
No, Andy, you're asleep.
I succeed with a 9 on the crit die.
Succeed. Okay, right. He hasn't quite severed your arm, but as he's fallen
That's
asleep,
good.
yeah, he's done the damage to you. But as he's fallen asleep, he's fallen into you like that, and he's bashed you to the ground.
Does he drop the book?
Ah,
So, Asa, you see the priest asleep, rolled on the ground, bleeding from his arm. completely going, help. But the book is turning around to him and saying, do not worry. Now, Mr. Mage, would you like the power I can grant you? All you have to do is release me.
Well, I made my discipline check last time. So, what's Nasser doing?
You can choose to fail the discipline check.
Oh, I want to so bad.
I will grab that book and look around and say, "This foul thing needs to be destroyed." And then,
I mean, can I try to grab the book with my one good arm still?
You're sort of out prone on the ground. You're out prone on the ground, clutched in one arm, and the sleeping priest lying across you with your arm bleeding.
Okay.
Well,
So-
the good news is, Andrew, you'll get such good sleep, you'll gain some fatigue points back.
I would look at the at Barnabas and I say, "We have to destroy this. How do we destroy it?"
My precious.
At this point, a voice comes from the corner, from the spiral staircase. What are you doing here? What are you doing with my book? And that is where I will finish this one-shot adventure.
Huzzah!
That was a lot of
Wow.
fun.
Oh man, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It toward the end, I felt like four kids went into the library, and the library guy caught them playing the book.
You know, instead of this like serious medieval, chivalric adventure, I felt like it was the scene from Ghostbusters with the little old lady in the library, the ghost, and then Nasser gets slimed, and but Steve.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I'm not sure how typical a CNS adventure that was, but it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Steve, great job, sir. Thanks for explaining everything. Nasser, thank you for your patience, buddy. Nasser's kind of a quiet guy. Once you get him rolling, man, he goes. But great system. I mean, I know Nasser spoke very highly of it, but Steve, really fun, sir. I mean, I love the magic. I would totally play a magic user in this game. And I thought, oh, well, I'll hold because I know I don't have as many points as everybody else does. So I'll hold my action. And once one of the knights or the priest gets one of these guys down, I'll either shadow bolt it or maybe sleep. I didn't think sleep would work too well on him. I didn't know. But then I thought, or if it starts to go south, I'll do the blur on whoever was in trouble, and that's what I tried to do for the Herald, to help him out because it looked like he was having a hard time, and I thought Nasser could take care of himself, and it did. Nasser's worked out really well, but then the end there, God, I really wanted to read the book.
Yeah. So one of the things that that I should say about this is although we have a knight, we have a mage. Anybody can learn any skill.
Right.
You just get certain benefits for learning skills within your remit. So you'll get bonuses to skills that are within your specialty. So there's nothing to stop a wizard learning how to use a sword.
Right.
Or wearing armor.
Right. Which is one of the great things of Tolkien fiction. Gandalf had a sword. Whereas you look at D&D, you don't see too many wizards using swords. So I love the system. I like you and Stephen did point out that it's cumbersome to start, but once you get into it, it flows, and it did flow. I got to say the pacing from the GM was amazing. I'm the dumb one here. I didn't know how to do anything because I just didn't get enough time to read. I knew a little bit about the magic because Stephen told me to read up on it. So. But I personally, I'm grognard. I've been doing this for 30 years. I don't think it's that terribly difficult. I mean, it does take some attention to detail and planning. It sounds like this is a game that really, really rewards you for learning how to make your character. I don't want to say the proper way. That's not the proper term. But making your character, if you want to be the knight. Nasser, he had the stamina, he had the fatigue points, whereas the herald was kind of in between. You know, he was good at stuff, but he was always referring to the knight because why? He's not going to put himself in that situation. Let the knight make the call, and if it goes out well, then great. If it goes bad, well, it's the knight's fault. So, and the priest was awesome.
And for me, casting, performing prayers, sort of as I start to lose faith, then it gets harder and harder to keep up the belief. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of games that have consequences. In this game, I like the consequence. Like when the priest missed and his sword hit the arm of the herald, that to me is realistic.
And it's like really different from like your cleric in your D&D and OSR games, right? Where because if you think about it, it kind of works like religion really works. If you pray for something and it comes true, it reaffirms your faith.
Right.
If you pray for something and it doesn't come true, not so much. And that's kind of the dynamic. It's really. Yeah,
I'm sold, man. I
hope I've actually shown that CNS isn't a staid game. That if you want to run a really hard historical game, this you can, but you can run it as hopefully a bit light-hearted, a bit of fun as well.
Yeah, I think you did that amazingly. So I could see where your historical buffs would really dig into this, and you could get knee deep in it and the mechanics and stuff. But we played what I would call a fantasy game today.
Yeah.
And with ghouls and the magic and the priest spells and it flowed. I didn't see any problems. I mean, I think the game's shown its mechanics quite well. And I think if you're a fan of D&D but you want something more, right? You want to get your teeth into it and you want something new, I think CNS 5th edition is the way to go. I really do, because I think there's a wealth of choices. And sometimes people will complain that there's too many choices in certain things, but I think in here, it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of options, but you're going to be able to make the wizard or the priest or the knight exactly the way you want to make them. And I think that, to me, that's the hallmark of a great system, where you can have that flexibility to make it as complex as you want or as light as you want. We played a fairly light-hearted game. There's a lot of joking and cutting up, and that banter makes it fun. That's the hallmark of my channel. Nasser knows that. But in all fairness, we got a lot done. We did things. We interacted with the environment. We interacted with the people in the world. And you as a GM did a great job to set that scene. So I, for one, I had a blast. Yes, thank you. No, thank you. You made it all happen. So, gosh, I can't wait to play again. If you get room in your home campaign, you need a nerd. I'm that nerd.
I'm just in the process of putting together a home campaign set in this little place called Sherwood.
Ooh. Could I be a merry man?
I will let you know. I am allowing for the wharf option. If people don't want to play outlaws, the wharf option, sir. I object. I am not a merry man.
That's right. And I typically play the wharf, so no, seriously though, and Andrew, I mean, you did a great job, sir, and so you're a local GM for a group.
Well, I actually run online because basically we started a face-to-face campaign. We had one session, and COVID-19 hit. And we moved online, and then during that process, Andy, who's in the game, moved back to the UK, and I said, well, at that point, we'll keep it online, Yeah.
I mean, and sadly, I had to do the same thing with my Pathfinder game. Last night was our first online session using Fantasy Ground, and we had a lot of fun. I'm torn because I'm like Steve. I'm very much on the narrative side. I don't like to dig into all this complication of Fantasy Ground. It is cool, it is neat, but it's what my players want. I would prefer we just sat around the table and we chucked some dice. And I think in this essence, I think Steve, you did a great job of corralling all these maniacs.
Okay.
But the rolling the real dice, I don't feel that it detracted from it at all. What do you guys think?
I think it.
No, I like rolling dice.
Yeah.
I do run in Fantasy Grounds. I know what you mean. If you like a narrative style, it does tend to put you in a battle map.
Yeah.
And I found Andrew plays in my 2nd edition AD&D game, and there was a point at which I was saying to him, "This is making me think of AD&D 2 as a battle map,
right?" And it's
game, And I always used to run it narrative. And I love scene setting and atmosphere, and I found that I was saying things like, he moves 2 squares forward.
Right.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
But you can once you're aware of that, you can counteract it.
Right. And the flip side is, you just dropped $150 to play in Fantasy Grounds, so by golly, I'm going to use it. Right? Yeah. By the time you buy all the supplements and everything, which is nice because for CNS, we don't need any of that. I think the Discord, this worked just fine. And Andy, I'm dead serious. If you've got room in your game, I'll play.
Absolutely.
I actually run using Roll20.
Roll20,
So it's like Fantasy Grounds. Yeah. And I sometimes get stuck a bit into the battle mat sort of style of play as well there because of that. But it is a really rich tactical combat system, as you've seen, even when we're playing Theatre of the Mind. Yeah. You've got so many different options you don't have in other games that it adds some elements, even if it loses some too. But I really enjoyed this format. Thank you, Steve, because I always wonder, should I not have done the virtual tabletop? Should I have just run on Zoom or Discord or something and just played like this? And
I'm a huge fan of the Discord. I've been using it now for well over a year, and Nasser and I have had a couple conversations. Andy and I have had a couple of conversations, and barring my technical goof, it seems to work really well. And this time it worked flawlessly. And Steve, I mean, what a great job, sir. I mean, I'm so glad you decided to pick this up and make this 5th edition. Now we got to get into the promotional side of it. So these are questions pointed at Steve and possibly Andy for his editing skills. But what's next for Chivalry and Sorcery 5th edition? What's coming on the horizon?
Oh well, this is where Steve mentions my editing skills. We're currently editing Goblins, Orcs, and Trolls, which Steve has just sent me a message saying, "How quickly is this gonna come now?" So I'm kind of behind deadline on this.
Now,
having moved continents, it's
that puts a damper in things. But I will say again, for the CNS family, or for people like maybe our D&D or our Pathfinder players, if you want to bring that more fantastical realm, one of the source books out right now is Night Stalkers, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to add your werewolves and your vampires and your ghouls and all your nasties, right? So Steve, thank you for sending it to me. Yeah. I can't wait to dive into this, by the way, because this is my jam. I'm all about the werewolves. And for those that don't know, you can play a werewolf character. You can play a vampire, right, Steve?
I mean, I did run a campaign that did break down fairly quickly, which consisted of a necromancer who was a advisor to a vampire who wore Maximilian plate armor. He had a troll who wore rings to piercings as ringmail armor as his pet hound. He had a lycanthrope as a pet hound, and he had a giant as a servant who carried his coffin on his back.
Nice.
And that was a group I ran a game for. And that broke down fairly rapidly as the vampire tried to turn the whole county.
Right. But the point here being is that with this supplement and the Orcs, Trolls, and Goblins book that hopefully, if Andy ever gets off his ass and starts editing, will come out sometime soon.
It's mostly started.
I'm just picking. But you can run the fantastical.
Yeah. And then following that, all being well in January, we're launching a Kickstarter for Land of the Rising Sun 2nd edition, which will bring the Japanese setting into CNS.
Feudal Japan.
It's currently standing at around 320 pages, but we have an adventure to add into that.
Yeah, and I did see that you posted to my Discord some images from the 3-ring binder of Doom.
Yes.
So awesome. Thank you so much for that. That was so cool. Well, I will tell you this. If the time comes... Go ahead, Andy.
I was going to say, one other thing we've got coming out is Ars Bellica, which is the full war game supplement for
Ooh.
Chivalry and Sorcery.
Nice.
Yeah.
In the first edition, it was both a role-playing game and a war game.
Right.
So we're
going
trying
back to
bring
the
that-
roots. So
try and bring that
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
well, definitely, Steve. I think would love to get you back on the show to talk about that Kickstarter as it gets closer. Maybe to
Yeah.
do a pre-show and then maybe like halfway through, because as we all know, Kickstarters kind of ride that plateau, and then the last 20 or so days it kind of summits, and and then the last 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
people jump back on the bandwagon. So definitely anything anything Mr.
Well,
Mean can do to support the Kickstarter, I will
Well,
gladly do.
the plan with the plan with the Land of the Rising Sun Kickstarter is we won't launch the Kickstarter until the product is ready to go to the printers, which will mean that the plan is to have the PDF go to the backers immediately funds have cleared.
Right,
That's a
and so
Kickstarter
and
finishing.
that's always so you've gotten something to show for your money. So it's not vaporware, as the old saying goes. So that right there is an amazing plan, and I wholeheartedly support it. And like I said, I think Nasser would definitely with the GRC would jump on that. We will wholeheartedly support that as best we can through our various means of media and social media and all that fun stuff. I don't want to have to play with Andy because he offends me. But I'm kidding. Andy's the brother from another mother I never wanted. So he's we talked. It's funny. We talked for like 2.5 hours.
Red-headed stepbrother.
Yeah, we talked for like 2.5 hours, and then I realized his audio was all jacked up after the end of it, and I'm like, I was so mad because it was such a great conversation, and I just felt like Andy and I had so much in common, and we're so silly, and we just had a lot of fun. And I appreciate you guys taking your Saturday or Friday evening for Nasser and Andrew, because Andrew, you're in.
I'm in Dubai, but it's a
Dubai.
Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday morning or evening?
Evening.
Evening, right? It's
dark outside. Yeah.
Nice, and of
no
course,
kind of atmosphere.
there's no kidding that. And then Nasser, as always, for being the master organizer that he is. I really appreciate all the hard work you've done to support Mr. Mean. It is much loved and appreciated, and thank you so much, sir. You are a blessing. And I've had so much fun. So, barring any other questions, we got a Kickstarter coming for the Land of the Rising Sun. We've got a bunch of stuff out right now for the historical players as well as the fantasy players. So don't just look at Chivalry and Sorcery as a medieval historical RPG. It can do fantasy, as we just showed you. So please open your minds, open your wallets. Steve would appreciate that. And pick this game up because I highly recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. We had a great time today. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Andrew, starting with you, sir, anything you want to say, any social media you want to plug, or anywhere you're going to be or what you're doing?
Look, I'm not a great plugger, except I do have one little supplement I contributed to Chivalry and Sorcery Scriptoria, which is which is a monster called a Lilith. So it's a PDF. You can check that out.
Awesome, and you can check that out on Drive-Thru RPG. Steve,
you can check it out on Drive-Thru RPG and the CNS Scriptorium.
Yeah, and Steve, you have a Drive-Thru RPG affiliate program, correct?
Sort of. The scriptorium is something that we deal direct with people.
Mm-hmm.
So you contract directly with Britannia Games, but you get about 50% as you would with any other affiliate program.
Okay. Well, then
we're not going through drive-through.
Right. So, but for the CNS books and a lot of the supplements, they are on drive-through. So please use my affiliate link. That helps me out, helps the channel out, and doesn't cost anybody anything extra. So, Mr. Andrew, what do you got going on, sir?
Well, I am currently editing Goblins, Orcs, and Trolls. Yeah, I mean, this is a supplement I really love. I mean, you can play any of these races, even vampires and werewolves, with just the core rulebook, but these are the ones that expand it. So one of the things I really enjoy that we've done with this is we've taken a look not just at fantasy orcs, goblins, and trolls, but at the historical ones. And believe it or not, there were actually medieval views about
Right, and you and I talked about that. Unfortunately, with the audio jacked up,
Yeah,
nobody could hear your points. But no, that's really cool.
And it's not what you would expect
Right,
as well.
right.
It's an unusual take on them. I would like to plug something. I know that Steve is gonna plug Chivalry and Sorcery. I would like to plug first 5 fantasy role playing of Grim Aramil Productions, which is designed by Andrew Marrington here, and he's very graciously promoted Chivalry and Sorcery instead. So I will return the favour.
Excellent.
It is
Thank
an OSR basic D&D rule set, really aimed at people who want the basic D&D experience. It's simple enough that kids will get it. I mean, we were young when we started, and Andrew's actually been running games for his kids and mine with
Awesome.
First 5. It is a cracking sort of BECME basic based system.
Awesome.
Great fun.
Andrew, feel free to send a review copy. Mr. Mean is always willing to do reviews. The little self-plug there. So
I
I'm
will
gonna
do that. Absolutely.
I'm going to jump to Nasser because we want to. Not that Nasser is any less important. He's a founding member here, but I want to save Mr. Steve for last. So Nasser, what's going on with you, buddy?
I have a game to do in a couple of hours.
I need to pee and I need some lunch.
but seriously, I think there's going to be more work with the GRC, like future work with like expanding the scope of GRC. And I think everybody here is a GRC friend, so including the members, Andy and Andrew Marrington and Steven. So there's going to be more work with the GRC happening, like bigger scope, I think. That's what I think.
Awesome. Good. All right. So, Mr. Steve, light us up. Tell us what's going on. Plug away.
Okay, well, as Andy said, we've got Goblins, Orcs and Trolls on the way. We've got Ars Bellica we're working on, Land of the Rising Sun, other products. Andy and I have discussed possibly 30 different products we want to bring out.
Yeah. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Certainly ones that we have got in motion. We've got the text in from Graham Davies, who co-created Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. He's written a folklore bestiary for us. Ooh. He's also providing adventures for the Land of the Rising Sun Kickstarter. We've got Celts sourcebook, a Mongol sourcebook, Viking sourcebook. The Celts is being written by Richard August and Mark Langworthy. People might know Mark Langworthy from Judge Dredd, from Devil's Run role-playing game. Richard August has contributed a lot of other products as well. We've got our Patreon. Each month we put out an article, an adventure, and at the top tier you can get to see work in progress material.
Cool.
We've got Francis is working on Bury McGalley, 2nd edition, which will be naval rules.
Combat rules.
Nice. So you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Andy, when he's getting some free time, when he's not sleeping, he's working on an early feudal source book.
Poor Andy just gets picked on by everybody.
He started work on the early feudal source book, and Steve will say things like, "Can you just edit this?"
I know you're working on these 600 other things, but can you stop all of that and do this, please?
Yes.
And are you done yet?
As I say, it would behove me not to promote another company I'm involved with, which is Stygian Fox Publishing, and all of their Cthulhu material as well.
Awesome.
Stygian Fox are cracking Call of Cthulhu.
And for all you Yanks out there, cracking means like fucking awesome, okay? So,
yes. It's British slang. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not everybody knows. I have a lot of British friends, so I get some of the vernacular, but a lot of Yanks may not. So
I can go full Yorkshire. You know, they eat gradely. The chozzing.
Hey, don't have me go Brooklyn on you, because you won't be able to understand a word I say. So, all right, guys.
The other thing is that the other thing I'd like to mention is if your local game store doesn't have CNS in, have a word with them. The wholesalers can get access to it. There is stock in the US.
Yeah.
If your store won't stock it, Indie Press Revolution does.
Right. And I'll say, I don't know what shipping post you used, but you got those books to me ASAP. I was thoroughly impressed. So I can only imagine it would be even faster if it's on your side of the pond, if you're using that same service.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, definitely no shortage of books. I hope for the listening and viewing audience that this gave you a little taste of CNS and that it has piqued your interest, and you'll pick up I personally am a whore for the hardback books. But if a PDF is in your future, or you want to save a tree, damn you, you should get the PDF from Drive-Thru RPG, or directly. Can they buy it from? Can it be bought from Britannia Games directly from the website?
Not at the moment, not the PDF, but the hardbacks can.
Okay, so you can get the hardbacks and they'll be shipped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's guys. Wow, so much fun. But me and Nasser have a 2:00 game, so we've got about 2 hours to do everything we need to do and get back into another game, which will be on the Mr. Mean channel as well. I'll post it later today. But we're going to go take care of some family stuff and all that fun stuff. Guys, everybody, Andrew, pleasure to meet you, sir. I look forward to hearing more from you. Andy, I love you like a little brother.
Nice to meet you too.
Steve,
You too, man.
You're a hoot, sir. Nasser, much love to you, brother. You guys were amazing. I had so much fun. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And with that, we'll go ahead and end the stream. And everyone have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. All right. Peace. And as Mr. Mean always says, peace and hair grease. And remember, be nice.